Leroy McGuirk and getting your first job in the business, obviously under Bill Watts. What was it like with Leroy? Because we know from some stories about him, kind of a strange guy and obviously a blind guy as well.
Yeah, Leroy didn't have any sight. He was blinded one eye as a young man, probably 8 or 10 years old, I think. Then he went on to an All-American National Championship level amateur career at Oklahoma State as a wrestler. Then he was the NWA junior heavyweight champion and legitimately one of the real tough guys, a real shooter. But, they say, I never met Leroy when he had sight. He was blinded in 1951. I wasn't born then. But he could be very volatile. The Leroy's issue was like a lot of guys. It's no mystery. He got overserved a lot. Like every day he drank straight whiskey. So and it was a problem, obviously. So that was that issue. But he was a really bright guy. He was the editor of the college newspaper at Oklahoma State. He was the sports editor of the paper before that. Really an academician. He graduated from college in the 1930s when other wrestlers weren't. So he's very, very intelligent. But the booze was his demon. And I'm sure that I can't say I wouldn't be any different or maybe worse, that I think he was very bitter that he was sightless. Because it really robbed him of his heyday there in the early 50s, because he was a major star in that junior heavyweight division, and the junior heavyweight then meant something. It's hard for fans today to look at it because they're going to compare what I term junior heavyweights to a junior heavyweight today, or the cruiserweights, the 205s, or the whatevers, the X division. Not that doesn't apply, but you know what I mean. It's just hard to look at that because they had such an amazing array of terrific talent, and in that category, and Leroy was the kingpin of that group. But the thing about it is, everybody also knew that even the heavyweights, I don't know if there's too many heavyweights that he couldn't whip. So he was very well respected within the business. And remember the NWA, very colorful character. He was a very key character in the issues that Mildred Burke had with the NWA. Her getting milked out of a bunch of money by the honorable NWA, which is a big joke. So anyway, my book's got a lot of those stories and territory stories and first time I went to a wrestling match and as a kid and who was on the card, what I remembered, working for Cowboy Leroy, being Leroy's driver. I'd never even been in a Cadillac in my life until I drove McGuirk's as his chauffeur. He did ride a shotgun, so he rode in the front seat. And he always had a satchel with him, and the satchel had a lot of things in it. Had a big can for cigar ashes, cigars, whiskey, usually a handgun. So he's quite the character. So when he was sober, he was very kind to me. But it says a lot about people that drink, and that's about other people have said that about others that they know. When he's sober, he's very nice to me. That's a scary thought. But there's the other side of that statement. But nonetheless, Leroy was really a unique dude, and he and Bill gave him my start. He saw something in me. I took notes at the booking meetings for Leroy, and I didn't even know what I was doing because they were using terms I didn't know. We'll have so and so and so and so. We'll have them do we'll have a 10-minute Broadway. So I'm writing down 10-minute Broadway. I ain't got a clue what that means. I don't know what it means. Now you go on, you get an 8th grader who's active on social media. He can tell you as a wrestling fan, he can tell you what a Broadway is, without a doubt.